Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our webinar. Yeah, just to start out with, everybody, let's say hi to Nicole. Yeah, as some of you are very familiar with the chat already. So yeah, please fill in to key in the chat box so that we can have your messages. Hi, Chin. Hi, Aiza. Yeah, some of you actually can put in your organization name so that we know which organization you represent. Yeah, it's really get to know one another, you know. Yeah, and we want to make it as lively as possible. So feel free to key in any message, greetings. Yeah. Hi, Rose Sharon. Okay. So while waiting for another 3 more minutes before we go live, what will be helpful is maybe some of you can tell us where are you from, you know? Yeah, let's start with that. Nicole, where are you from actually?
I'm originally from Seremban, but I work in KL.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
So
I know
I'm
that Seremban is
currently
a
in
nice food.
KL.
You're currently in KL. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe there are a lot of nice food in Seremban.
Yes, we do. I miss Seremban food so much.
Okay.
Anyone from Seremban as well?
Yeah, anyone from the audience are from Seremban? Say hi. Yeah. Siu Bao. Yes. That Siu Bao is one of the very famous one. Every trip I go, I'll surely get some. So next time we can get Nicole to get some for us as well.
For sure, no problem.
Great. All right. So Nicole, how have you been, you know, coping with the MCO right now?
I think it can be very challenging. However, from understanding the importance of staying at home, I think it has helped me a lot. Yeah.
Okay. That's great.
What about you, Eve? Are you doing well?
I very occupied at home. You know, you got to play multiple roles. You know, sometimes you got to work as an employee. You know, like everyone out there. You got to be a mom. You got to be someone's daughter. You know, at times I had to become a entertainer, a peacemaker. Yeah,
24/7,
therefore,
right?
yes, yeah. Absolutely, 24/7. You got it right. Yes, and we have Rose Sharon actually from Sabah. Wow, all the way from Sabah. Nice, welcome. Hi, Justin. Good day to you too. Yep. Okay, so we are about to start our webinar soon. I hope everybody get to tune in very shortly. Hi, Steph. Hi, Vintage. Yes.
Hello, everybody.
Right. We are very friendly group of people here.
Oh,
And I
that's really
noticed,
nice.
yes, definitely. Yes, Maylin, I can't wait to Maylin. You know, I can't wait to hear a lot of tips from Nicole. Nicole is
Oh,
someone who's
wow.
very energetic, yeah, and I believe she has so much to share with us. So, with that, this is 3 o'clock sharp. Nicole, shall we begin?
We are good to go.
Oh, fantastic. All right. So everyone, let me share Nicole's profile with you. Nicole basically is a clinical psychologist and she's currently an associate with Eunoia. Yeah, some of you probably still wondering how do we pronounce the name of this company? It's called Eunoia. Yeah, correct. And this is basically a Greek word. Yes. And Eunoia is carrying a very meaningful term, in fact. It's called beautiful mind. Yeah. So if all of us are Malaysian, yeah, whether are you from Sabah, whether are you from KL or even Seremban, where Nicole is from, yeah, we can all pronounce Eunoia. Just be a bit more Malaysian. That's how you can remember the company's name. And for Nicole, she has been practicing actually for quite a number of years already. In fact, she specializes and mainly uses cognitive behavior therapy in her clinical therapy sessions with her client. Something very interesting about Nicole that we were chatting about before we start the webinar was Nicole was sharing with me that she had an experience dealing with some imprisoned inmate, yeah, that she was trying to cope with them, help them, and support them. And another interesting fact that I learned about Nicole is that she's someone who is so hungry for knowledge that she's still pursuing her PhD. And I'm sure Nicole will be very successful in her career in very near future. And for those out there, if you're looking for piano teacher, Nicole is teaching piano as well. Yeah, that was something that I gathered during our chat slightly earlier. Yeah, and Nicole, I can't wait to hear from you. And without any further ado, let's welcome Nicole, our speaker for today, and she'll be sharing with us about perspective and mindset. There you go,
Thank
Nicole.
you. Thank you so much, Eve. Hi, everybody. Okay, so as you can see that today we'll be talking about mindset while we're waiting for the vaccine, for COVID-19 to come out. So I'm wondering, there are many strategies and tips that are shared online that help us to cope with COVID-19 and to stay sane during this period of staying safe. So I would like to hear, okay, even though I cannot hear your voice, I would like to hear from all of you, what has been helpful for you in the past 4 weeks? Our MCO started since the 18th of March, right? So I would also like to hear from Eve. What was helpful for you?
For me, I'm still trying to look for my vaccine. In fact, for me, probably learning how to cook from my mom. Yeah, something that draw my minds away so that I don't have to think about too much of things. Yeah, since I'm not really sound very good with cooking. Yeah, now picking up cooking seems to be one of the very good vaccine for me.
Yeah,
Yes.
that sounds amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. And what about the rest of the people? Rose Sharon actually shared saying that keeping connected with the loved ones and having virtual hangouts is actually her vaccine. And Lynn says that exercising. Steph also says that exercising helps as well. Yeah, I would love to also exercise. I think earlier we spoke about how to exercise at home. Probably I should start practicing that.
That's so true.
Yeah. And Maylin said that it's about perfecting a recipe. Wow, amazing. And some say discovering old hobbies, Sunny actually said that setting aside time for family. Wow, nice. And Jean mentioned about speaking to my best friend. Yep, that's great.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
How about you, Nicole?
I guess it's almost the same with everybody. And I think it's so nice to hear that even though we are social distancing, but we are actually connecting with each other. We took the initiative to make sure we stay connected with each other. That's really great to see, how most of you have find interesting things to occupy your time. And as a mental health practitioner, right, I'm interested to share a potential mental vaccine with all of you today. And before we go into that, there are people who actually told me that, I actually noticed that I become busier at this period of time. Like, for example, maybe I used to work from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Then during MCO, I actually work from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. or even longer hours. Some people actually realize that they tend to procrastinate more. Their productivity level become lower because they find it really difficult to change their dining area into the office. Then their hallway in the house becomes the NPE highway where they used to drive to work. So I believe that it can be very challenging as well, especially you're not used to working from home. So I would like to hear from the audience again. Okay, I'm trying to make this as lively as possible, like what Eve said. Could you tell us which one are you? Are you the busier type, or are you procrastinating more? Or you think that there's no difference for you before and during MCO? Or you can also share with us the other experience you have.
And while waiting for the audience to reply, in fact, Nicole, some of our audience answered to our previous question about what are their vaccine. Some of them have very good way of dealing with this current lockdown. In fact, some of them say that morning meditation and reflection helps. Wow, amazing. And they say that spending time picking up new languages. Yeah, that's such a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I love
And
it as well.
mm-hmm,
Yeah, I've
fantastic.
been trying to learn Korean, in fact.
Really, the
Yes.
drama probably can help.
Yes, yes, definitely. We all have been on
Yes.
Netflix. Actually, I feel really lucky for right now because we have the Wi-Fi, we have all the
Mm-hmm.
resources to keep ourselves entertained at home at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Amazing.
Mm.
And we also have quite a lot of people who mentioned about, wow, changing arrangement of home furniture as well. Now, while the responses are coming in quite quickly, yeah, some of them say that they are more busy. Yeah, correct. I know, Vincent, because we have at least 3 to 4 lined up meetings daily. You probably will have more than 3 or 4. Yeah, most of people actually say busier. We have someone say, yeah, procrastinate. Yeah, most of them actually say busier. In fact, the day is filling up with
Mm.
a lot more activities whenever there's free time. And Nasa said that
Mm.
he felt busier as well. Yeah.
That's very interesting. More
Mm-hmm.
people actually say that they are busier.
Yes, correct.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. And in fact, Nasa was wondering perhaps, maybe having some idea to maximize the quarantine period. Probably after this session, Nicole, you can share some ideas with all of us. What do you think?
Oh, sure. We can
Mm-hmm.
talk more about the strategies and ideas, you know. Yeah, I
Yes.
think that all of the ideas that you mentioned, that all of you mentioned just
Mm-hmm.
now are really wonderful. There are some of the things that I haven't got the time to try yet. But yeah, I think all of you have been coping pretty good, so far. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good job, everybody.
Amazing. Yeah, good job to everybody. And Claire actually commented that, even though we are having virtual meetings, but the elderly at home will start asking us questions. Claire, I can totally empathize with you. Trust me on that. Yeah. All right, Nicole, maybe we can continue with the slides. What do you think?
Yeah,
Well,
I
we
think
still welcome more responses from the audience as well.
yes, definitely.
Yeah.
We will try to
Mhm.
attend to them as soon as we have a break in between. Yeah. So
Yes.
moving on, like we all know, since it has already been 4 weeks of MCO, there have been, challenges for staying at home. And these in on the screen that you can see now are just a few examples, I'm sure. Yeah. And all these challenges are faced by, I would say, almost all of us will have to go through these challenges while we are staying at home. And these challenges will lead us to feel the negative emotions, such as, we get more anxious, we feel more worried, or we can, some of the days are a little bit more blue, a little bit more depressed because we don't get enough sunlight, we can't go out, and losing the physical touch and, the human connection. We'll feel maybe a little bit more angry. Even like feeling unappreciated is also quite common because like I said, lacking of human touch, everything is on Zoom, there are a lot of screen time. So when we talk about these negative emotions, right, to manage them, to better manage these emotions, we need to identify what is in our control. Yeah, which is what we will be focusing on today. Yeah. And like our topic, when we talk about mindset, I'm sure that some of you who have already heard and understood how powerful is a positive mindset or a right mindset in our life, how it can lead us to go very, very far. And I'm sure some of you is already practicing this as well. Yeah. So today, in our webinar today, what I'll be sharing is the perspective, the power of perspective, specifically based on cognitive behavioral therapy, which is my main approach. In short, we call it as CBT. So I will be using this term CBT throughout our whole webinar session. Yeah, and I will be sharing how do we identify the structure of our mind in a clearer picture. And just now, remember that all of you have been sharing like, oh, I actually noticed that I'm busier during this MCO, or I have I've been connecting more with my friends, my family members. I will call that as the very first level of self-awareness. We notice the changes of our behavior and also our response to things. And we want to look at it in a clearer picture. So together we will be aware of how our mind works. Yeah, so let's have one let's do one activity, okay? So something that all of you can relate to. So Ellen is my friend, all right? So Ellen has been sent for grocery shopping to a supermarket today, let's say today lah. He was chosen by his mother out of, his other 4 siblings. So before I continue, I would like to ask the audience again, if you're Ellen, how would you feel? Maybe before you answer, I would like to hear from Eve as well. How would you feel if you are chosen to do grocery shopping today?
I probably feel very excited and nervous as well because I'm not very used to grocery shopping, but yeah, the excitement of having to go out, yeah, I guess maybe I should change the nervous into adventurous. Yeah, having to try, what to buy, try out different veg and etc. Yeah. And over here, some audience actually said that Chin said that excited, Jean said nervous. Oh, Maylin said paranoid.
Wow.
Of course, some actually say anxious and worried. Kevin say scared. Yeah. Naza
Wow, so
said
we
that
got
he
more
loves
anxious.
shopping. Yeah. Yes. So we seem to have quite a good blend of response, in fact. Yeah.
Sounds like everybody has quite a different feeling towards the same situation in grocery shopping during MCO period, yeah? Yeah.
Looks like it.
Yeah, like I mentioned, Ellen's my friend. So this is what happened. He posted on Facebook and said, guys, I'm so excited that, he's actually excited. I'm so excited that I'm chosen. I'm finally going out, after 3 weeks of MCO. And then I saw another friend of mine who actually commented and said, hey, dude, I don't think you should be this excited because you're just someone that your mom is willing to sacrifice, out of your other siblings. So it suddenly turned into a very pathetic scenario. So, before, I continue, remember to do grocery shopping before MCO? How would you feel about that, Eve?
I think I feel excited, but definitely not worried. In fact, I will enjoy my shopping time. Usually I grow my grocery shopping with my kids, and I see that as a family time as well. So a lot of joy and fun, picking stuff together with my kids. Yeah, definitely slightly different feeling from current moment.
And here's what I wanted to point out. Yes, even though, before MCO and after MCO, the way we feel about grocery shopping is very different. Even if it's the same thing, about grocery shopping, we will also have very different answers. Even though all of us are in this MCO together, we are staying at home together, we understand how contagious COVID-19 is, but we still have a very different answer. This is because the situations are always neutral. Yeah, they are not the one that directly cause how we feel about things, but it is our perspectives. Yeah, so that's the main character or the star today. We are going to talk about perspectives. So as a cognitive behavioral therapist, we have this model that we call ABC model that we will usually introduce to our clients at the very beginning of our session. So to explain, ABC stands for different things. And A stands for antecedent event, meaning the situation. And B is our belief, the automatic thoughts, or the raw interpretation of the event. And then C means the consequences, which involves our feelings and our behaviors. So I would like to ask Eve a question again. Yeah. So let's say you were to ask someone who is feeling nervous, okay? And you ask him, like, why are you nervous? Usually, what kind of answer would you get?
Usually, the person probably will say that, I'm attending a very important meeting, doing a very important presentation. Some people could answer that nervous because is not prepared. Yeah, not enough preparation is being done beforehand. Yeah, that would be the usual answer that I will have.
So you see, this is just one example. If you notice, we always like to regard our emotions to the event. Like, why are you crying? Because someone doesn't want to be my friend. Why are you disappointed? Because I did not get the mark that I want. So in fact, this consequences, we always like to look at the how the feelings is directed from the situation itself. And for example, let's say there is this little girl who is crying, and she told me that or she told you that, oh, it's because that someone ate my ice cream. We would try to help to solve her problem so that she could stop crying. Like maybe you would say that, oh, let me buy you an ice cream, or don't cry, or we can go eat ice cream tomorrow later, you know. So we always like to when we regard our feelings to the situation, then we will attempt to change the situation itself. However, the situation is not, it's beyond our control most of the time. As much as we would like to change the situation, it can be difficult. Like, for example, we cannot change whether today is going to rain or is it going to be a sunny day. We cannot change whether the virus can go back, to where it comes from, or can it be settled soon, and we cannot change how busy the traffic will be on roads. So therefore, what we want to talk about, it's something that is within our control, which includes our beliefs and the consequences. And to zoom into here, okay, I'm just going to give you a diagram to help us to understand better that the consequences doesn't involve our feelings only. In fact, it also involves what we think. What we do after that. So what you think will lead to how you feel about things, and how you feel will eventually affect your behavior, your response towards that. Like, for example, if you believe that I'm going to fail in this exam, then the feelings that comes together with that is usually going to be negative. You will feel sad, frustrated, stressed. And when you're feeling this way, most likely you will not be able to stay in your room to continue to study or do what you need to do, but you actually feel overwhelmed, and then you would choose not to study, and you would do other things instead. So let me just use this as an example, use this ABC model again. Let's say someone in your condominium just got tested positive for COVID-19. And again, I would like to hear from Eve, okay? If it's you, if it happens in your condominium, what would you feel?
I would probably feel rather worried, because my family could be using the common areas. I guess, feeling majority feeling very worried. Because I do not want my family member to get infected in a way. Yes.
Yeah, and I think that is a very, very valid feelings, that you will experience fear, worries, and anxiety. In fact, fear, worries, and anxiety are necessary to keep us safe, and sometimes to help us to meet our goals, So over here, we want to talk about the intensity of the emotions, because we cannot be fearless. For example, like during MCO, if all of us are being very fearless, we would not adhere to the rules already. Everyone will be out, and we can never flatten the curve, right? So in fact, these emotions are needed, but we need to check if the intensity is too high or too overwhelming, and are we still able to function? So looking at these consequences, we usually rate it with the percentages. So for example, with this thought, I will contract COVID-19. It gives the person more fear, worries, and anxiety. So as you can see, the person believes in this thought as much as 80%. So it really gives the person a very high and overwhelming emotions. And next, there are so many uncertainties. I cannot go back to my normal life after MCO. Uncertainties usually gives us a lot of anxiety as well. So I'm using this example, a very extreme example, because I want to show a more straightforward ABC model, and I would like to really show like how the percentages are signifying something. Also, I forgot to explain the percentages on our thoughts. It actually means how much we believe in that thought. The more we believe in that thought, the more we will feel something about it. And when, like I've mentioned just now, the emotions also leads to our behavior, right? So when we are overwhelmed by our feelings, it will lead us to very unhelpful behaviors. Like, for example, maybe MCO will be lifted in, 28th of this month, hopefully, and then you will still be fearful to go out, even though the groceries at home is already running out and there's no delivery services available at home. You will still not want to go out. We want to be fearful, but we want just the right amount. We do not want it to like take control over us. Yeah. And also, this is just, I would like to just share with you a little bit that this is just something that we usually do with our clients in the therapy session. It is not the whole part of CBT, it's just one layer in CBT. So I would like to also use this opportunity to let you guys know that a lot of times we misunderstood that therapy sessions are only for the clinically diagnosed or someone with mental illness, or like what people like to say, crazy people. In fact, it is not only for people who need help like that. It is also for people who wants to understand themselves and would like to explore their inner world. And using this CBT, we will go deep down based on their thoughts and find out their root causes, because usually we will have a lot of thoughts in our mind, and if you are a more introspective person, you'll probably be able to find out like they are all leading back to the same root. Yeah, but I will not talk too much about that because it can get complicated. If you are interested, you can always sign up a therapy session to get to know yourself better. Yeah. And if as much as we own our thoughts, like what we are talking today, we want to learn how to control the B and the C, right? We must remember that you are not your thought. I am not my thought. And our thoughts are just phrases, words, and sentences, if you realize. So when we talk about replacing a thought, we are not going to stop a thought, because we can never stop a thought. At the same time, we are not going to replace it with beautiful white lies. Like, I am the best in the world. I am the prettiest girl, in Malaysia. No, we're definitely not going to do that. Maybe at the beginning you'll be convinced and you feel good about yourself, but it will not last long. Based on some of my clients' experience, when they just started out CBT, they will attempt to put in a lot of positive thoughts every time when they wake up in the morning. It gets very tiring. So we need to be very mindful. The thoughts that we replace, we want to just make sure that it is something healthier, more rational, and functional, and also helpful. So using back the example of someone in your condominium just got tested positive for COVID-19, this is just one example. There are many ways you can replace the thought. Like, let's say, okay, imagine this. If this happens and your thought is, I will need to be extra mindful and not touch my face with my hands, since someone in my condo already got tested positive. My condo is a red zone now. Yeah, and I may not have control over the situation, as in I cannot control whether my neighbors got tested or not. I cannot see the virus with my naked eyes, but I have control over the precautions to take, like wash my hands, sanitize all the time, and boost my immune system during this period. And lastly, it might take time for everything to be normal again. It's like a very realistic thought that yes, after MCO, things may be different, but I know and I've accepted I accept that it might take time for everything to be okay again. So I would like to ask Eve, do you see any difference between the thoughts in the box with the first layer of thought in the previous example?
Okay, Nicole, in fact, interestingly, you see, when you gave the explanation about, we can really change our mindset instead of being very fearful of, I probably want to be mindful of, the hygiene factor, all these are very good pointers. In fact, I really appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah, and just like what Eve mentioned, these good pointers, show us more control. Do you feel more power over yourself? That is something that you can do instead of just saying that I will contract COVID-19. There's so many uncertainties. I cannot do this. I cannot do that. And with this, it actually makes us feel worse, and we will end up in a cycle that we will feel even more worried. Therefore, with these new replacements, we may be able to reduce the intensity of fear, worries, and anxiety to make it just nice for the time being. So there are many ways to connect with ourselves. Yep. So one of the ways that I really like that I always share with my clients is journaling. And when I do journaling, I would suggest all of you to do it by writing it down rather than typing it on your computer, because everything is on a screen nowadays and it's just too much screen time. But not just because of that. When you're writing it down, you're actually giving yourself more time and space to reflect on your thoughts. And there isn't much rules to do your journal. Just imagine your journal as your inner world. You are the author of your life. You get to play around with it. You get to express it either with words, with pictures, with doodles, anything that you're comfortable with. And what you can ask yourself when you're journaling is, what was the thing that go through my mind? What do I understand about the situation? You can always talk about your thoughts first, and then you can also have another columns writing down your emotions. Yeah, any way will do. There's no strict rules for this. So with this, I would like to also hear from the audience again. What have been the ways that you use to connect with yourself?
Interestingly, yeah, let's hear from the audience, Nicole. Yeah, in fact, while you spoke about journaling, then I was just thinking, what about myself? How do I actually build a relationship with myself? Yeah, and now think about it. In the past, yeah, probably, because I'm a person who enjoy water sports. Yeah, therefore, I was hoping that as long as I'm in the water in the pool, that's where I have a lot of peaceful thoughts in a way, and that's how I actually build a relationship with myself. And in fact, recently, my son was the one who taught me. So is to write
Wow.
letters to myself. Yeah. I
Very
somewhat saw him expressing himself very, very well in writing. Yeah. Therefore, when you spoke about journaling, immediately I just connected to my son. And yesterday, while he was expressing himself, having to find why is he angry about certain things yesterday, he wrote himself a letter as well as writing me a letter as well. Yeah. I would wish that MCO ends soon because I miss my swimming pool. Yeah. And probably I have to start figuring what can I do at home to build relationship with myself. Yeah. And Nicole, we have some of our audience saying that, doing art and craft. Isn't that nice? Yeah. Something that is handy.
Yeah, you see, it really shows us like what you shared, Eve, going under the water and art and craft can also help us to connect with ourselves. We don't really have to write it out all the time. In fact, if you're not a writer, you don't like words, you can take just 5 to 10 minutes of your time to just sit down at a place, doing nothing, to just reflect on your thoughts. It sounds kind of like meditation. You can stare into your ceiling or the blank wall to just sit with your thoughts.
In fact, Nicole, spot on, actually we do have audiences who spoke about yoga, meditation, and then also playing music, listening to music, reading. Wow, amazing. See, there's so many things that we can actually spend time on our own and enjoy it and building a relationship among within ourselves.
Definitely. So
Yep.
this is just like I said, it's one of the ways, and also my favorite way. And to give you some ideas, you can also include this in your journal. This is what we call DTR. It's also one of the techniques in CBT. Okay, you don't have to put this if you don't really like this, but it's just a very structural way to help us to see how everything links together and or what are our thoughts and what we can do about it. So I will just share the first two columns first, okay, before I share the whole thing with all of you. The first column, you can write down the date, okay, so you can keep track, like a tracker, on your emotions and your thoughts. And the second column, we want to write about the situation. So you can write a very detailed situation, but be careful, don't write your thoughts or your emotions in this. This column, we only want to write what happened, the event. Like, for example, there was a noise in the living room. So this is a very like a clear and non-personal situation. You didn't put any of your perspectives, your own thoughts into it. And then the next column, we will put our thoughts. And just a reminder, our thoughts are different from feelings. When we talk about feelings, it's like I feel happy, I feel sad, I feel worried, I feel angry. In this column, we only want to list down the things that are, the words, the sentences, and phrases, and you can rate how much you believe in this thought. Then in the next column, we can have emotions. And you get to, and then based on the thoughts, you can identify what do I feel about it. Or sometimes it's actually easier for us to fill up the emotion column first. So you can go ahead and write down the emotion first, and then only you go back to, what triggered my emotion? And then you only ask yourself, what's my thought about this situation, to identify, how they are linked together. And you can also rate your emotion, like how intense is it. So this is basically how the whole table will look like. The date, situation, your thoughts, and then the consequences. You can write just your feelings, or if you're interested to understand more about yourself, you can also include your behavior to see, oh, I realize that a pattern, whenever I have this thought, I tend to behave in a certain way. And this is just one part. There's another two columns that you can add on, which is an alternative response. What do you see? What is the other perspective that you can see in this situation? And then you can rate your emotions again, or you can put down any new emotions that you identify after you have an alternative thought. So we will discuss how do we come up with the alternative thoughts. I'm sure this is what you are thinking, right? Okay, so how do I change my perspective? This is one of the tips. We are always, more harsh and more critical on ourselves, if you realize, and we don't usually say things that we say to ourselves to other people, especially to our loved ones, even strangers. We are not usually that critical. So what would be helpful is to imagine yourself, out of the situation. Like if let's say someone who loved me knew I was thinking this way, what will he or she say to me? Or if my friend is having this thought, what will I say to him or her? This will actually be a very helpful strategy to just put ourselves out of the emotions a little bit, keep the emotion at arm's length, and focusing on the rational side of the thought. And next tips which is my favorite, is to replace the why with what. Like, for example, if you fail to deliver a project, probably you ask, why did I do so badly? You can remember those school times when we got lower marks than what we expected. We will also ask the first question that we ask ourselves, why did I do so badly? Why am I so stupid? And this is definitely making you feel bad, and it will lead to nowhere most of the time. And instead, if we ask ourselves, what can I do to improve next time? Yes, we still feel bad. We are not satisfied with whatever result is it, but it will actually make us focus on what are the resources that we have and what are the things that we can do instead. Or another example would be, why do I have bad team members? When your boss assign you to work with a group of people, like I've mentioned, sometimes we cannot change the situation. It's not worth it to leave the job because I have a bad team member, for example. So what would be helpful is to ask, what can I do to solve the problem? Yeah. And lastly, why is it so unfair? We can replace it with, what am I willing to compromise in a situation like this? So when we are doing journaling, we can also constantly check in with ourselves to see where is our thought leading to. Is it going to lead us into a vicious cycle of self-blaming, which is like the why statements, or is it actually bringing us out of the cycle and change the situation in a way? Yep. So I would like to, before we move on to our final activity, I would actually like to ask another question. Yes, I have a lot of questions to ask. I am very curious. What is the one thing that all of you miss the most during this MCO period? Yeah, and what about you, Eve? I would also like to hear from you.
Yeah, I guess during this MCO period, the one thing that I really miss a lot is my wine and dine with friends. I'm not saying that I don't miss my family. Of course, I miss my family. Yeah, yeah, but I still hope to get connected with my friends. Have the freedom to at least just to move around. That's something that I would really look forward to. So I'm praying so hard that MCO get lifted soon. And Nicole, actually, some of our guests here mentioned about, yeah, I think we are the same. Most of them actually says about going outside, hanging out with friends, just going out, meeting with friends, shopping, eating, swimming. Yeah, as Lee mentioned that, chilling at cafe. Yeah, I know. I miss my cafe as well. Yeah, my cakes and cafes, the high teas. Correct. And Chin spoke about playing team sport with others. Yeah.
Wow.
We have someone very
So
interesting.
healthy.
Yeah. Oh my God. Someone mentioned about eating at the Japanese restaurant, Nicole.
Oh,
Yeah, I miss
true.
that as well.
Yeah, now you're making
Yeah.
me hungry. Yeah.
Never mind. We shall eat virtually together after this.
For sure. Yeah, I actually also miss driving to work. It's not just enjoyable activities, but I miss driving to
Yes.
work. I miss, sorry to say that, I miss like getting stuck in the jam.
The traffic.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Oh, apparently someone actually said that they miss the nature. Yeah, true. That's so
so
true.
true. Yeah.
Yes.
Because we are in our house, we don't get to interact with the plants and the nature out there.
Yeah,
Yeah, not
correct.
all of us are staying in a landed property, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And
So,
at the moment, actually, Claire actually also mentioned that she agrees to choose to be grateful. In fact, Claire said that she's actually very grateful that she still have a shelter. Yeah, the basic uh necessities that is available at home, clean water compared to many unfortunate ones. Yes, Claire, thumbs up to you. I think that's what I feel very grateful about as well on a daily basis.
yeah, that's the reason I ask you this
Mm.
question is because one day I just have this realization. I just realized like, wow, I miss so many things. I even miss like little things like going to Genting Highland, or being in my friend's house. This shows that we are very grateful. We can say that we miss all these things is because we experienced and enjoyed it in the past. So similarly, I believe that there will be things that we will miss from this MCO. Yeah. So in our activity, which some of you have already shared what you're grateful for, which is great. Thank you so much. I would like all of you to participate. Don't just watch me from the screen. I want you to try it. Put yourself in this and ask yourself, what is the one thing? Just share with us one thing that you are grateful for today.
Fantastic. Yes, audience, feel free to share with us. And while waiting for more responses from the audience, Aiza, thank you for mentioning this waterfall. I miss waterfall, Aiza. Yeah. Okay. As for myself, to share with you as well, how do I usually express my gratefulness on a daily basis is that, before bed, usually my kids will do a good night prayer. Yeah, and we will usually say, thank the Lord for what we have today. And I always enjoy listening to my kids because this is where I am able to witness and also to grow how they feel grateful for things that they already have and pray for the better.
Yeah, in fact, Eve, this is actually my favorite, one of my favorite tools that I like to use in my session. And I personally love to use them as well.
Okay. And some of them actually shared that, like Chin said that, she's actually grateful for having time to do her art and craft and reading the fantasy novel. Wow, amazing. Yeah. And some are very grateful that they are still connected to the internet. Yes, Joe, tell me about it. Yeah, internet connection is very important right now. And yeah, and Fu say that Fu is actually very grateful for being in good health. Very true. Staying very healthy. Yes, Aiza, being healthy is very important. In fact, yes, Rose Sharon said that she's very grateful that she's not financially impacted by MCO. Yeah, I wish I can say the same thing as well. I wish I can say the same thing.
News. Yeah.
Yes, correct. And yeah, Nasa said that he's grateful to be safe with the family. Still alive and healthy. Yes. Francesca actually says that grateful today for the food on the table. Yeah, rainfall outside now. Oh, really? Is it rainfall outside now?
Yeah, it is.
It is, huh? Okay. All right.
Yeah, there are so many things to be grateful for if you realize, even though we all complain about MCO, like, oh, it's so bored at home. But if we choose to ask ourselves, oh, what are the things that we are grateful for? We will be able to come up with a few things, right? In fact, there are a lot of you who shared a lot of wonderful and beautiful things that you are grateful for. I'm really, really happy to hear that. Even though this is a very simple exercise, however, we don't practice it much in our daily life. I don't ask Eve, hey Eve, like, what are you grateful for today? It can be a bit weird. Yeah, but I mean, there's nothing wrong to ask. You can actually start asking your friend about it, and in fact, based on a systematic review, okay, a bit more research based over here, it has shown that gratitude is very beneficial to our psychological well-being, emotional well-being, and social well-being. So by just noticing and realizing what we are grateful for, it can help us in different ways. And to share a little bit about my experience, like I said, I personally love to use this gratitude exercise as well. I prefer to do it at night before I sleep. I will ask myself 3 things that I'm grateful for. And I can remember during my first time of doing this activity, I actually, I felt very touched on that night because I actually listed more than 3 things. Yeah, I was really surprised by it. And I realized that how our perspectives is always in our control, and we always unconsciously or subconsciously choose to see what is more urgent and what is more negative in our life. And by doing this activity, it can help us to shift back to a more healthier way of thinking. It's a great way to end our night. Yeah. So even though CBT is a Western-based approach, however, it is apparently not just a Westerner's philosophy. Lao Tzu, a Chinese philosopher and writer from ancient China. I'm not sure if you know him. It's quite popular. He mentioned this, that really have an impact in me as well. Watch your thoughts for they become words. Watch your words for they become actions. Watch your actions for they become habits. Watch your habits for they become character. Watch your character for it becomes your destiny. So wow, it's really, really powerful in my opinion, because if you were to compress them, Lao Tzu is basically saying that your thought equals to your destiny. And you will be able to see how they are linked together. Your habits, for example, like you have a habit of waking up early, it will become your character, that everyone will know you as a person, as a morning person, and everyone will know that they can reach you in the morning, for example. So that's why in CBT, I'm also more attracted to use CBT approach, because it talks about the thoughts, which is really, really a powerful tool that all of us own, and how by being mindful with our thoughts, and I'm not talking about ignoring our emotions, and keeping our emotions by understanding that it is affected by our thoughts, can help us to maybe change our destiny. So I guess what I'm trying to say is also we are not going to stop a thought and replace it with a positive phrase like I've mentioned just now. And I would like all of you to imagine this. Let's say we are all in a mission, all right? And I gave all of you a basket, and you will be going to a garden with multicolored stones later. So while you are carrying the basket, you are instructed to only pick up the yellow stones. And when you are in the journey, you'll be able to see the other colored stones at the same time. You'll be able to see the blue colored ones, the purple, the pink. However, you'll only be picking the yellow colored stones as instructed. So at the end of the mission, you only end up with a basket of yellow stones. So that's why I put this in, but it is a choice to look at only the yellow stones among all the colored stones in a quest. Yeah, so I hope this to summarize well with what I meant by a healthier perspective, not ignoring the worrying thoughts in us, but is choosing what is more helpful for ourselves. And to end this, okay, I would like to share this statement that I saw from internet. I'm not stuck at home. I am safe at home. So I would like to also thank all of you for staying at home this period, for cooperating, and we can all do this together. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Nicole. In fact, I like what you have mentioned about the color stone, which is very true in our life, in our journey that we walk for so many years. Yeah, I know you're still young, but we have been coming across with so many good things, not so nice things. There's so many things that we're experiencing, but it's really our choice to pick what we want to keep. Yeah, I mean, if we are able to have as many happy memories as possible, that'd be very encouraging for us to continue moving on the journey. But of course, nevertheless, there will be times that we are down. There are moments that we are being impacted. There are moments that we may be, having challenges that, people may not really understand us. However, if we are able to change our mindset, like what you have taught us about the ABC model, yeah, probably that is a way for us to pick ourselves up, look at things very differently, from a very different perspective, and moved on with life positively. And I believe this is what all of us need right now, especially when the crisis is happening. Yeah, a lot of uncertainty that we are going through. We need to be strong for ourselves, for our family, for our loved ones. I guess this is a very helpful session for myself. And Nicole, there are also some people over here at the chat room say that, yeah, they are very thankful since we spoke about being grateful, and they actually really thank I mean, they are very grateful for having food on the table. Isn't that very basic needs that what will make all of us very happy? Yeah, to just have food and water and all the basic things that can fulfill our life. Yeah, that's already something that we need to feel very grateful about. And Nicole, thank you for sharing so much with us. At this moment, may I welcome the audience to post more questions, and Nicole is able to answer your questions. Yeah. And in fact, Nicole actually specializes and applied a lot of CBT at her therapy session. And feel free to ask a specialist right now, yeah, on air, to questions that you have always wanted to know. Yeah. Come, audience. Yes, Jean. In fact, I must also thank Nicole. In fact, it's very insightful. I totally agree with you, Jean. Yeah. And
Thank
Nicole,
you.
just out of curiosity, for people who may find it very hard to change their mindset, what is the one thing that you encourage us to share with them?
Sorry, can you encourage?
Okay. So for example, there are people who may be very fixated with their mindset. Yeah. So based on your experience, how would you encourage us to speak with them, to talk to them, so that we can bring them out and see a different perspective?
Okay. I think it can be quite difficult when you need to. I assume that you, as in the non-therapists, right? The non-mental health professionals, how do you help people to change their mindset, right?
Yes, correct.
Well, we can always inspire them with our own, healthiest perspectives. It can be helpful at times when we share, hey, this is how I see it. Maybe sometimes you just need a reminder to see what is it. But I would say to change it, right, it's not going to be easy. As a therapist as well, we need to build, a lot of trust and rapport with our clients, and we need to understand and, like I mentioned just now, dig deeper into their thoughts, try to understand what's their resistance, what's holding them back, in order to go on a journey with them to find more practical and helpful alternative thoughts for themselves. I would say that this is a very personal and individual thing. We cannot really help the other people if they do not want to change their mindset, but it's good enough that we can help ourselves with this.
And recently I actually watched the news, saying that after this COVID-19 incident, a lot of people may get into a lot of mental health challenges because people get very depressed, and then they say that they may have a PSD and etc. What do you think, Nicole?
Yeah, I think it can be very true. I would say that I'm not sure if it will turn to the worse or better, because it's very subjective. I think for now we have to. I mean, we can only focus on the here and now, because it's dangerous for us to try to predict the future too much. And the fact is, we can't. If we are going to think about, everyone is going to be mentally, having some problems, including myself, it's very difficult to control. Like what we have spoken just now, we want to be able to control what we can do.
Okay, yeah, true. Probably we should focus on what we can do. In fact, there's a very good question. Someone asked, Jane asked, that has been showing symptoms of depression since MCO, as he's not used to being stuck at home. Yeah, exactly what you mentioned, stuck at home. Yeah, how can Jane help to change his mindset?
I think she can be an example to her dad, like how she can communicate more with her dad, try to talk with him and help him to see what she sees. I think the more important question is Jean, right? Jean also experiencing the same thing, Yeah, I think before we can help others, we need to help ourselves first.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see. So I guess the self-care will come very handy then, correct?
Yeah, I
Be
think
aware of how we feel.
I think another thing is also, the connection with the dad. If she's able to, maybe she can do some activities with the dad. And and to like what our wonderful audience have mentioned, the few activities that have been helping them.
Yeah.
She can pick up one or two from those to, experience it with the dad together.
I see. That would be a good one. Yeah. And another question was being asked by Rose Sharon, saying that, how do we balance between grateful and positive while recognizing and acknowledging the very negative emotion? What do you think, Nicole?
I think when we talk about balancing, like the checklist that I have shown on the slide just now, we want to check if the thoughts are healthy, helpful, rational, and also practical. Yeah, we want to check like if it's something that is realistic as well. So I guess it's okay to be positive, but not too much. Everything we have to make sure that it's very hard to give an example over here to how to balance it, but I would say it is a work, like how we balance up our life and work life together. But I believe that within ourselves we know what is better for ourselves. This is what I believe in all of us. This is not just something that the mental health professionals know.
Yeah, talking about work-life balance. Nicole, I'll send you to talk to my boss one day. Yeah, my boss need to understand the fact that work-life balance is important.
Okay.
Yes. All right. And audiences, any other question that you would like to share with Nicole? Yeah, in fact, Nicole, just now when you shared about the table, how do we actually track our thought? I thought it was it was rather a very helpful method, very applicable method. Yeah.
That's what we use in CBT sessions.
Okay.
So it will be like an activity for them to do at home to help themselves to keep track on their mind and how thoughts link together with their emotions. It's basically like giving them a new tool to practice, so that they won't need to rely on their therapists or the professionals, for lifelong, but they have this tool to help themselves, after the therapy sessions.
I see. So basically, during a session, you allow them to use this method by themselves at home. Is that so?
Yes. Yes. And they will usually bring it back to the following session, and we will check in like, oh, how was your week, instead of just asking how was your week. Usually when you're asked how are you, usually just answer I'm fine, thank you, right? It's very
it is very true.
So instead of wanting them to summarize how their week was, the table would be very helpful for us to get a sense of how their week was.
Good. I see. I'm very sure this has been very effective techniques that you have been practicing during your therapy session, and it has been helping a lot of your clients as well. And therefore, I have heard about this CBT technique for quite some time already. But I must thank you for sharing so much with me that right now I do have a clearer idea about the ABC model. How do we actually recognize our emotion? How did our emotion actually get translated into our behavior? And that basically helps us to determine what sort of mindset do we want to pick up along the way. Yeah. I didn't know that there's such a structured way of doing it, but it's definitely very helpful.
I guess what I would try to emphasize is how important and powerful our thoughts can be. So I really hope that this sharing will remind all of you that, hey, actually in difficult situations, we can still have control over certain things, especially our thoughts.
Yeah, definitely. I believe maybe some time ago we do have a webinar to talk about the locus on control, the internal and external. Yeah, and when you brought it up just now, I can totally relate to it. There's a lot of things that's beyond our control. We cannot tell people not to use the common area, you see. Yeah, we cannot stop people from doing certain things. However, we do have the ownership to decide how can we act upon it. How do we be more mindful about certain things? How to be more cautious about doing certain action or making certain decision? Yeah. So maybe audiences, let's practice, knowing how to identify things that is within our own control, as well as things that's beyond our control. We can't do much about it, unfortunately. But let's start off with doing what we can, own up the responsibility of our own decision about doing certain things. Yep. All right. And with that, I must thank all the audiences for sharing their thoughts with us, all the ideas with us. Yeah, let me try to imagine the waterfall. Yeah, sometimes imagination is a vaccine as well, don't you think so? Nicole? Yeah.
Oh, yes, I do agree. Yeah, especially
Mm-hmm.
with my experiences with
Mm-hmm.
kids. Do you realize that kids are actually like happier and they are more joyful and relaxed because of the imagination? A lot of things they can, it spark joys to them. And they only need a little bit of things to make them feel wonderful in a day. So I think
Mm-hmm.
this is a beauty of a kid, and we definitely can learn this from the kids by being more imaginative, like how we imagine that our living room turning into a cinema. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. My living room is constantly a cinema, especially for my kids. Yeah, at times I need to negotiate for my own time to take over the TV as well. And Nicole, thanks for answering all the questions, and it's definitely very insightful. I really enjoy your session a lot. And
Thank you. Yeah.
yeah, maybe for our audiences, we will appreciate if you can also take a picture of, or not take a picture, but just scan the QR code on the next slide, which can I, yes, thank you, Nicole. Yeah, can you please scan the QR code? We really appreciate if you can share some feedback with us as well. Yeah, and of course, we also have lined up a very interesting topic for our next Thursday session, which is also to be aired at the same time. And the next topic that we will be sharing is actually called Re-Envisioning Supportive Parenting. I think I should just quit being a moderator and I shall be the audience this round, because I will wish to also learn some tips from our guest speaker, Chue, to talk about how do we do our parenting with poise. Yeah, I guess my kids are now seeing me as a dragon mother, but I will also want to do it with poise. Yeah, therefore, parents, or in fact, friends of parents, feel free to join us next Thursday, same time at 3 o'clock. Yeah, so stay tuned. And also, besides sharing our next session with everyone here, I will also want to encourage people out there to join us at this very interesting campaign. And this is actually a campaign that we have designed for our current situation, the MCO. We want to share with people that we want to keep ourselves as positive as possible. Therefore, dear audience, dear guests out there, please take note of this particular campaign, which is being conducted or championed by our sister company, People Science. It's called as Positively Infectious. Yeah, it's not too late to share our positive energy with our friends out there. So therefore, there are challenges designed under this campaign, which you can choose to complete as many as possible. We don't limit any time frame, but please follow the page and then complete the challenge and spread this with as many people as possible. We hope that all this can be shared across the nation. In fact, beyond our nation, in fact, the world requires a lot of positive energy to fight the virus, to regain our life, even though most of us are really living the new norm right now. We want to regain our own life as well. So, dear audience and guests, please share this as widely as possible. And with that, I must again thank Nicole. Thank you for your time and
Thank
effort
you.
for preparing this webinar. Really enjoyed myself a lot. And
Thank you
of
for
course,
you too. And thanks to
thank
the
you so much.
audience. Yeah.
Yes. And maybe just in case some audience may not get the QR code, Nicole, shall we show them the QR code once again? Yeah. So audience, yeah, our guests out here, yeah, please feel free to give us some feedback. We are always wanting to improve ourselves. In fact, it would be great if you can share with us what other topic would you like to listen to, so that we can design our webinar according to your preferred topics. Yeah. All right. And with that, again, thank you, Nicole. And my friends out there, yeah, I hope to see you next week, same time. Tune in and we will see you again. Thank you. Thank you, Nicole.
Bye.
Bye.